Hey everybody, in this guide we're going to be going through the Shattered Veil Easter egg. Pausing is suggested. But before we get into it, I would highly recommend having Aether Shroud equipped because that's going to help you during a certain step of the Easter egg. First off, we need Pack-a-Punch, so grab the fuse. Secondly, the circuit board. With those two parts, now we can repair the elevator. Once you hit the button twice, we'll have access to the elevator shaft. And for those that don't know, this is where Pack-a-Punch is located. On round 10, be sure to be inside the mainframe chamber or the security overlook. You need to kill the lab technician to drop you the floppy disk. With that, we need to interact with this computer in the East Foyer. Once it's done printing, remember the word it gives you. In the nursery, approach this board to get a code with the word we remembered. We need to get a number for each of the letters of the word. For example, my word is crab, so C is 9, R is 7, A is 2, and B is 9. With the code, we're going to use it at the code lock in the service tunnel.
Shit.
Once the door opens, make sure to kill the doppelgast to receive the arm. Now we're going to use the arm in the scanner in the armory to unlock the Raygun Mark II.
Risk, meet reward.
Collect the first free axe at the garden pond, and the second at the security overlook. In the mainframe chamber, remember the letter to the left of the glass container. With the axes, we're going to throw them at the wheel in the middle and to the wheel with the letter that you remembered. Now the container should have gas in it, so throw an explosive at it, and grab the empty canister. Collect a free Kazimir grenade in the service tunnel. With that Kazimir, come to this location at the rear patio and throw it at this barricade. This is how we acquire our second empty canister. For the last canister, we're going to have to destroy blue crystals around the map with the Raygun Mark II, and these are the 4 locations of the crystals. Collect the first reflector in the fountain at the southwest balcony, and the second reflector is in the fountain at the conservatory. Around the map there are white boxes. Keep destroying them until it drops the essence bomb. It is guaranteed to drop on the 8th. With the essence bomb, place it at this location in the service tunnel. Place the first empty canister to start the Preservation Raygun Mark II challenge. Place the reflector and melee it to direct the beam to each of the 3 doppelgast statues. Place the other reflector above and direct the beam as I do. Now melee the crystal in the middle. And kill the first doppelgast. Pick up the reflector and move the direction of the other. Now place the other reflector. Melee the crystal in the middle. And kill the second doppelgast. Melee the reflector until it is directed at the final doppelgast. And melee the crystal in the middle for the final time. Kill the final doppelgast. Since the challenge is done, pick up the light canister.
Nice.
Build the Preservation Raygun Mark II and the Director's Quarters. This is Raygun Mark II P.
What every girl wants.
You're going to have to destroy these plant pods with the base Raygun Mark II, explosives, or fire in the following areas until you acquire 4 plant seeds. Now that you have 4 seeds, here are the harvester locations where you place and defend them. Also, if you failed one of the harvesters, no worries. You can restart by picking up the seed in front of the harvester and trying again. Place the empty canister to start the Rot Blight challenge. Here are 2 examples on what the beginning and end look like of the defend process. Pick up the toxic canister and build the Blight Rot Raygun Mark II at the garden pond. This is the Raygun Mark II B.
Oh, God, what's next?
Place the 3rd empty canister to start the Wraith Fire Raygun Mark II challenge. What you're gonna have to do is get the Abomination to laser all the 3 small rocks and have them run into it. You'll be able to tell that the rock is ready for them to run into it once it's glowing blue. Once that's completed, defend this circle from vermins getting inside it. Pick up the explosive canister and build the Wraith Fire Raygun Mark II at the supply depot. That is the Raygun Mark II W.
Guess this makes me...
With the Raygun Mark II P, activate the soul box at the banquet hall to open up the liminal space. Pick up the ritual elixir inside the liminal banquet hall. Interact with the chalice inside the bottley and kill the disciple that spawns.
Refreshments also.
Interact with the second chalice at the overlook and kill the disciple that spawns again.
Refreshments also.
The final chalice is at the garden pond and kill that last disciple. Remember the order of the 3 numbers at the banquet hall next to the elevator. With the numbers that you remembered, go to the west hallways and put them in the order from left to right. And when the safe opens, pick up the antler carving. Place it on the pedestal and kill the enemy with the Raygun Mark II P. Pick up the Sentinel artifact. With the Raygun Mark II R, activate the soul box at the library to open up the liminal space. Also, be sure to enter the space once it completes, or the items in Aether Shroud won't
Semi-permeable
spawn.
reality junction stabilized.
Here are the 3 fireplaces that the ID badge can be in. You have to be in Aether Shroud, and you are still able to pick it up a few seconds after it ends. Here are the 2 locations for the audio log that you can pick up while in Aether Shroud. And finally, here are the 2 locations that the ledger can be found while in Aether Shroud. Here's an example of the ledger and the audio log being found while in Aether Shroud.
Sam Colton's gambling debts. Yikes.
And here's the ID badge at one of the fireplaces.
Bring back
After you pick up those 3 items, you'll have to place these 3 books in the correct order, and you have to figure that out through trial and error. Once you get the correct order, pick up the nuclear plant inspection report.
This
Place it on the pedestal and kill the enemy with the Raygun Mark II B. Pick up the Sentinel artifact. Pick up the sconce in the banquet hall.
is official.
Place the sconce at this location in the grand foyer and play a short game of Simon Says.
Something tells me
With the Raygun Mark II W, activate the soul blocks at the distillery to open up the liminal space.
serves you right, don't kill me when you had the chance.
In the study, there is a bell behind these locations. Break the glass to find it and pick it up. Here's an example of what the bell looks like. Now put brain rot on one of your guns. Place the bell at the bar in the overlook. Bring around a zombie and ring the bell.
That's right. You up for us now. Looks like it's my show.
Once the zombie gets behind the bar, he'll give you a metal hip flask. Place it on the pedestal and kill the enemy with the Raygun Mark II W. Pick up the Sentinel artifact. It's finally time for the boss fight, so you need to prep up. I definitely recommend bringing in the Chopper Gunner and the Raygun Mark II W. One tip I can give you is to let the Z-Rex eat toxic zombies. That allows them to grow spores on his body so you can shoot them and do huge chunks of damage. Also, don't be shy to use that Chopper Gunner when you need to. It'll do a ton of damage and save you when you're about to die. I hope you enjoyed the guide, maybe learned a thing or two. Remember to like the video and subscribe to help us reach other zombie enthusiasts out there. Also, here are the rewards you will receive upon completing the Easter egg.